Hello and welcome to the August 4th, 2024 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick. This is brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, I finally have some budget going forward with this project of mine, and we have a crew and everything. We're on every Sunday now, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nick's News Facebook page and YouTube page. We're here on Facebook Meta, whatever the hell it's called lately, and we also have the Nick's News YouTube page live. Link is in the description. And I am continuing to work towards dual streaming between Facebook and YouTube. So the goal is to stream on both platforms every Sunday. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back into the world. Several of our articles are pulled from goodnewsnetwork.org, but we do appreciate the articles that are sent in by you, the viewers. And I don't think it's on Sean's end with the stuttering. I've been watching my chat, and it looks like the encoder situation is back. Major laggy. Uh-oh. We might have had a misstart here. Something is bogging us down. What is bogging us down? Because that's usually what's happening is... Why would the encoder be overloaded again? I'm still getting the hang of all this. Laggy for Grayson as well. Shoot, so the encoder's not... So the encoder's overloaded. So let's futz with the encoder. Audio is okay, video is not. Okay. Let's try some stuff. Okay, how about now? Thoughts now. Are we still really bad? I'm keeping an eye on my chat right now. We might have a misstart. We might need to just start over, especially if I've got really laggy video. I just screwed around with some of my video settings because when I was doing my test earlier, I wasn't having an encoder problem. It looks good now. How about the quality? Is the quality still good? It's synced up nicely. Okay. Shoot. All right. So, would y'all be opposed to me going back to the stream start, or should we just do it live? Asking my chat, because I cater to the people. And I'm happy to do so. So, let's see what folks think about this. If it's good, I'm good with just continuing as is. And there's just always, these are live produced products. So I think no sense restarting, just keep going. That is from our art department, from Grayson. Looks and sounds good, Julie says that. So you know what? We're just going to go with it. I'm going to quick scoot that just a tiny bit so I'm a little bit more centered. And we are going to go. Quality's good. All right, let's go then. Let's get into our broadcast for today. So, something that I mentioned earlier. We are not going to be bi-weekly anymore. We are going to be weekly. We will either be on the Sunday or the Monday each week because there are so many good news articles. And really, with the news cycles that we have been bombarded with lately, we need some good news out there. So, time to get that good news flowing. Keep slogging on. You're already late enough. It's true. Now, what that means, though, for future broadcasts is it is going to cut down some of the broadcast time because we are not going to be doing 10, 12 articles anymore. We'll probably be doing 6 articles. It's going to bring the content time down, but it's going to get us going, and it's going to get these videos out faster, and then I can start mucking around with them and doing more stuff. So that's my plan. All right, let's get on to the beer. Tim from the chat is yelling that I get into the news brew, so I will get into the news brew. The news brew for today, or tonight, or whenever you watch this, is Juicer Hazy IPA from my favorite Boston-based brewery, Harpoon Brewery. It's a 7.2% hazy IPA. And I thank my dad so much for getting me this beer. He actually was in Massachusetts and picked up the beer for me. So I absolutely love Harpoon Brewing. We need the Battle Song bottle opener. Ooh, there we go. And my friend Jason and Melissa picked me up a brand new Michigan Brewers pint glass. It's the newest one. I absolutely love it. Just the good old Michigan, and then Michigan, the great beer state. So we're going to use that. The theatrics of the 5-minute pour. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The head is crazy. The head is crazy. We want to get all that gas out of there. And that beer is indeed hazy. Hazy. Oh, I should say it with the Boston accent. My favorite Boston-based brewery, Harpoon Brewing, out of Boston, Massachusetts. 7.2% ABV Hazy IPA. It's wicked. I should have gone with my wicked pissa glass, but I just got this one and I really wanted to use it. We'll get it all topped off here. Ooh. Oh, hello there. That's going to be good. Shout outs. Can't stop, won't stop plugging Fox Hen Winery. It's fantastic. Hit them up Fridays and Saturdays in Grand Haven, Michigan. This Friday, PizzaMI is going to be back out with a food truck. It's going to be present from 4 to 7 p.m. And also, Maple Bourbon is back on the menu. So everybody enjoy. Links for Fox Hen Winery are in the description. We are also, as stated earlier, we're on YouTube. We're going to shout this out as we start to build the YouTube platform. Link is in the description. Right now, it's just the recorded videos, but soon it will be also live streaming there as well for the folks who don't have Facebook. Yeah. The name of the beer, it's Juicer. Juicer. It's Juicer. All right. So, next up for our news quote, this one was sent in by my mother. Stuff's going on. She's doing her best to cheer me up, so she sent in a really good one. She said, "Life's ups and downs provide windows of opportunity to determine your values and goals. Think of using all obstacles as stepping stones to build the life you want." And that quote comes from Marsha. I think it's Marsha Sinetar. I think I just screwed up the name on there. Oh no. I think I wrote. Yep, I did Marsh, and it's Marsha Sinetar. I'll have to change that in post. So Marsha Sinetar, she's a Ph.D. She's a corporate advisor, a lecturer, and a prolific author. Just a lot of titles to her name. And that quote really just resonates, with when the chips are down, just sort of building the path to where you want to go. So again, life's ups and downs provide windows of opportunity to determine your values and goals. Think of using all obstacles as stepping stones to build the life you want. So to my mother for sending that to me, and to Marsha Sinetar, Ph.D., for saying it in the first place. Cheers. It's a good hazy. That is a fantastic hazy. Wow. Okay. So with that, we are going to get into the good news for this episode. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and the wholesome note or notes, the really touchy-feely article or articles that we like to end on. So, We will get into it. We will start off in Category 1, Science and Technology. We have 2 articles here, both sent in by you, the viewers. I'm so happy for them. First one that we're doing is one from Cassidy. I called it PFAS Ain't Forever Anymore. And I will copy and paste it in the chat if y'all want to read along with me. Now, these science articles I know are long-winded. We will get through them, I promise. So, let's go. 100% of toxic forever chemicals break down overnight in new reaction. Scientists in Japan have developed a new method for breaking down toxic forever chemicals quickly and at room temperature. The technique broke down 100% of certain types of these pollutants overnight, recovering some useful components for reuse. So not only are we breaking down PFAS, we're also getting some stuff out of it that we can actually put back into the cycle. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, are a broad class of chemicals that have excellent stability and resistance to water and heat, largely thanks to their strong carbon-fluorine bonds. This makes them perfect for everything from non-stick cookware to firefighting foam and water-repellent clothing. Both those super strong bonds have a downside too. Since they don't break down, the chemicals tend to linger in the environment essentially forever, hence their nickname, forever chemicals. Worse still, when they accumulate in the human body, they've been linked to diabetes, fertility issues, various cancers, immune system disruption, and many other health conditions. Now, scientists at Ritsumeikan University I was just looking at the chat. I sent Sean, one of our newsies, a shirt, and it's currently tied up in customs. Dang you, Canada. All right. So scientists at Ritsumeikan University in Japan have developed a new method for breaking down PFAS. Semiconductor nanocrystals of cadmium sulfide, or CDS, some of which are doped in copper, are the active ingredients in a solution that also contains water, a compound called I think I've heard of this one before. Saying it is a different matter, so let's try this out. Triethanolamine. Oh, okay, triethanolamine, or TEOA. And of course, the PFAS chemicals waiting to be treated. When the solution is exposed to LED lights at wavelengths of 405 nanometers, the nanocrystals become excited and cause the PFAS molecules to stick to their surface. At the same time, electrons are generated and excited in the solution until they remove fluorine ions from the PFAS molecules, breaking those sturdy bonds. In tests, this method successfully broke down 100% of a particular PFAS called perfluorooctane sulfonate in just 8 hours. Another, called Naphion, broke down by 81% in 24 hours. This was achieved at a temperature of just 38 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit for people that have landed people on the moon. Far cooler than the 400 degrees Celsius, or again 752 degrees Fahrenheit, usually required. The technique also recovers the fluorine ions, allowing them to be reused for other industrial applications. The technique is similar to many others that use a catalyst to break down PFAS molecules, which was actually an article that we did earlier this year. But usually UV light is required and often a higher temperature. I think that was one of the big things, is it was still very energy intensive using that method. Other teams have found success with similar reactions using supercritical water, magnetic particles, hydrogen, or boron nitride. Ultimately, having a mix of options for breaking down PFAS could be the best solution. The research was published in the journal Angewandte. Oh God, it looks like it's a German word. Angewandte Chemie International Edition. So that is really cool. To all of the researchers at the University of, let me find which one it is again. The University of Ritsumeikan in Japan, and to Cassidy for sending in that article. Cheers. This next one was sent in by a newsie who has not sent in too many articles, but I am so appreciative of it, my friend Mike. Mike sent in Better Seeing for Solar. And I will copy and paste this in the chat if y'all want to read along. Transparent solar panels, reforming future energy supply. What are transparent solar panels? Photovoltaic glass is probably the most cutting-edge new solar panel technology that promises to be a game changer in expanding the scope of solar. These are transparent solar panels that can literally generate electricity from windows in offices, homes, car sunroofs, or even smartphones. Blinds are another part of a building's window that can generate electricity, which is discussed later in this article. Now, this is a very large article, but it's pretty interesting technology. Researchers at Michigan State University, or MSU, originally created the first fully transparent solar concentrator in 2014. This clear solar panel could turn virtually any glass sheet or window into a PV cell. By 2020, the researchers in the US and Europe have already achieved full transparency for the solar glass. So normally solar panels are big, bulky, they're heavy, they have a lot to set up, and lots involved with them. This is different. This is solar glass. So it is a transparent material that can work as a photovoltaic cell, just like a solar panel. It maybe doesn't have as good of production, but it can be anything we use glass for. If you look at all those giant skyscrapers we like to build, can you imagine just having them be giant batteries? And I agree with Sean. I was just reading. Sean commented, all attempts at a similar goal may be energy intensive to start, but when balanced across developments and sparks of genius, if the net effect is positive, it may be worth the investment, so long as the cost of the investment does not happen too late to be irreversible. I wholly agree with that. So how do solar panel windows work? A transparent solar panel is essentially a counterintuitive idea because solar cells must absorb sunlight and convert them into power. So taking photons, turning them into just straight up electrons. When a solar glass is transparent, the sunlight will pass through the medium and defeat the purpose of utilizing sunlight. However, the new solar panel technology is changing the way solar cells absorb light. The cell selectively harnesses a portion of the solar spectrum, so not all of it, just a portion, that is invisible to the naked eye while allowing the normal visible light to pass through. To achieve this technological wonder, the researchers have developed the Transparent Luminescent Solar Concentrator, or the TLSC, rather than trying to do the impossible by creating a transparent photovoltaic glass cell. So we're not taking advantage of all of the wavelength of light, just a little bit of it, but that little bit can go a long way. And producer Donna said, yeah, if you have your electric car, if you did the entire sunroof of an electric car with this glass, it could just be helping to recharge the battery as you go. That would be pretty slick. The TLSC is composed of organic salts that are designed to absorb specific invisible UV and infrared light wavelengths, which then glow or luminesce as another invisible wavelength. This new wavelength is then guided to the edge of the window plastic, which thin PV solar cell strips convert it into electricity. Once the mass production begins for transparent solar cells, researchers estimate that the TLSC should be able to deliver an efficiency of about 10%. Doesn't seem high, but it's something. This may not appear to be an earth-shattering number, but on a national or global scale, when almost every window in a home or office building consists of clear solar panels, the results can be transformative. As the transparent solar panels' cost comes down with their mass production and deployment, this non-intrusive technology can be scaled right from commercial and industrial applications to handheld consumer devices while remaining very affordable. They've got a few types active right now. Partially transparent, fully transparent, so both of those are in the works. It looks like Tesla's actually involved in one of them. And then they can also strap on some solar panel blinds. So they mentioned that earlier, that it's twofold technology. You've got the glass panel doing some of the work, and then you also have some new blinds that are doing some of the work. That would be interesting. Sean in the comments mentions, could they be designed as an overlay panel? So instead of doing one, instead of having it just as the primary surface, having it as a sandwiched surface where you've got like this layer over something. I don't see why they couldn't, but I think we'd have to look into it and see what they're doing with it. So the solar panel blinds. Solar panel blinds are a supplement to transparent solar glass panels when using the window to generate electricity. Solar power panels are designed to harvest sunlight to produce energy, while the essential function of window blinds is to block direct sun's rays from entering inside. Solar panel blinds are cleverly combining these two divergent functions. An innovative startup called Solar Gaps has introduced solar panel blinds, which it claims can cut down energy costs by up to 70%. For every 10 square feet of window space, these solar window blinds can generate 100 watts of power. You could roughly power 3 laptops with that much electricity. The solar blinds can be installed either inside or outside, and you can control their angle and positioning using an app that will also inform you of the energy generation figures. It includes a setting to automatically optimize the angle of the blinds according to the position of the sun. I think I need to get these. This would be... Hello, Lily. Or Lilith. This would... Yeah, producer Don. This would be fantastic for city buses. This would be fantastic for any city application. This is bonkers. So, in regards to the future of transparent solar technology, according to Richard Lunt, the Johansen Crosby Endowed Associate Professor of Chemical Engineering and Materials Science at MSU, highly transparent solar cells represent the wave of the future for new solar panel technologies. Lunt says that these clear solar panels have a similar power generation potential as rooftop solar, along with additional applications to improve the efficiency of buildings, cars, and mobile devices. Lunt and his team estimate that the U.S. alone has about 5 to 7 billion square meters of glass surface at present. And that's just in the last 10 years, as much as 682 million square feet of office space has been added in the U.S. So that's a lot of window space that could be just turned into solar power generation. With this much glass surface to cover, transparent solar panel technology has the potential to meet about 40% of the country's annual energy demand. This potential is nearly the same as that of rooftop solar. When both these technologies are deployed complementarily, it could help meet nearly 100% of the U.S. electricity needs if we also improve energy storage. That is a really cool one. Big thanks to all of the researchers at the Michigan State University for working on this, and to Mike, one of our newsies, for sending that article in. To you both, cheers. All right, so that gets us out of science and technology. We're going to move into category 2, health and medicine. We've got one article here, and once again, I finally have an article about lupus. I will copy and paste this in the chat. This one comes from goodnewsnetwork.org. Primary cause of lupus discovered, and a possible way to reverse it. A team of scientists from Northwestern Medicine and Brigham and Women's Hospital have identified the cause of lupus, a devastating autoimmune disease that affects 1.5 million Americans. In doing so, they also believe they've found a cure, or at least a more sophisticated treatment, and are currently working on developing a pharmacologic method of delivering the potential cure-like molecule. Lupus erythematosus, to use its full name, involves the body's immune system attacking its own native cells, or involves the body's immune system attacking its own native cells, causing a variety of skin complications while also potentially life-threatening damage to the heart, kidney, and brain. The cause of lupus isn't well understood, and the scientists at Northwestern criticized existing treatments as blunt instruments. The researchers first studied lupus patients and found that those with the disease had higher levels of an infection-fighting protein called interferon and not enough aryl hydrocarbon receptor, or AHR, which regulates how the body responds to an infection. Up until this point, all therapy for lupus is a blunt instrument. It's broad immunosuppression, said co-corresponding author Dr. Jaeuk Choi, Associate Professor of Dermatology at Northwestern University. By identifying a cause for this disease, we have found a potential cure that will not have the side effects of current therapies. Lilith just asked in the comments, does that mean that only Americans are affected, or are they just talking about America's portion specifically? I think given that it's from Northwestern University here in the States, that they're just referring to the U.S.'s population. Worldwide, I'm not sure what the numbers are for how many people are affected by lupus, but I believe I've seen that figure for America, at least, around 1.5 million Americans being affected. I can only imagine, you get worldwide, that number is definitely climbing, so this is a huge breakthrough for everybody who has been affected or is being affected by lupus. That was a really good question, Lilith. His co-author, Dr. Deepak Rao, a rheumatologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital, explains the cure acts as an adjustment. We've identified a fundamental imbalance in the immune responses that patients with lupus make, and we've defined specific mediators that can correct this imbalance to dampen the pathologic autoimmune response, said co-corresponding author Dr. Deepak Rao. Rao and Choi, along with the rest of their team, aim to develop medications to activate the AHR pathway. When this pathway is insufficient, it results in too many immune cells that promote the production of disease-causing autoantibodies. Look, America best country, so we're only going to talk about ourselves. Moon landing. Haha. So, when the AHR pathway is insufficient, it results in too many immune cells that promote the production of disease-causing autoantibodies. Northwestern Press reports that in order to show how this discovery can be leveraged for treatments, the investigators returned the AHR activating molecules to blood samples from lupus patients. This seemed to reprogram these lupus-causing cells into a type of cell that may promote wound healing from the damage caused by the autoimmune disease, so effectively reversing the damage of lupus. We found that if we either activate the AHR pathway with small molecule activators or limit the pathologically excessive interferon in the blood, we can reduce the number of these disease-causing cells, said Choi. If the effects are durable, this may be a potential cure. So that right there is a science breakthrough and a great one. So to everybody at Northwestern Medicine and Brigham and Women's Hospital working on discovering the source and cure for lupus, cheers. No, Sean just commented on the upcoming election where it's good news. Let's stay away from politics. Good news. Even my laptop didn't like that comment. It's going haywire right now. Alright, so that gets us out of health and medicine. We're going to jump into category 3, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals. And we've got 2 articles here for us tonight. This first one was sent in by Cassidy. I call it All the Buzz because it is bee related. So Cassidy, thank you for sending this in. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. And all of our articles that we go through are in the description for the YouTube videos. Lilith mentions it's going haywire because she's here because she is a gremlin. Beekeepers develop surprisingly simple solution to fight major invasive species wreaking havoc on hives. Its effectiveness was staggering. In Europe, beekeepers have found a novel solution to the marauding wasps. The Asian hornet, aka the murder hornet, invasion is continuing around the world. In Europe, beekeepers have found a novel solution to the marauding wasps: electric harps. As reasons to be cheerful detailed, the invasive species could cause the collapse of almost 1/3 of France's bee colonies each year. That's because one hornet can kill 30 European honeybees per day. In China, bees and other prey have evolved strategies to survive the onslaught. But in other places, including the United Kingdom and United States, native species have no such defenses. This puts honey production and even whole ecosystems at risk, per reasons to be cheerful. Various effects to slow down the hornets have proved unsuccessful. In 2015, however, 11 years after the hornets were first spied in France, one beekeeper wrote a blog post about electric harps. Retiree and beekeeper Michael Costa found out about the hardware years later and soon watched hundreds of hornets die within minutes. The demonstration of its effectiveness was staggering, he said. The frames of the harps hold metal wires that are spaced 2 centimeters apart that conduct positive and negative charges. So basically what they've made is a bigger version of the fly-killing tennis racket. And instead of swinging it at your little brother, you are going to deploy it to defend a beehive. Oh my. Oh. Lilith says, gotta the wasps and shoo them away. The frames of the harps hold metal wires that are spaced so, with positive and negative charges. When a hornet's wings contact the wires, they complete a circuit, killing the bug as they fly through. Beekeepers deploy the devices in the flight paths of the hornets, all per reasons to be cheerful. Studies have shown the harps reduce predation pressure by up to 89%, and that 78% of protected hives survived winter, while only 56% of unprotected hives do. So we definitely got some bump ups in survival, thanks to the electric harps. My chat is blowing up right now, and I am trying to maintain my composure and say good news about the bees. Oh, man. Okay, they are also accurate, with 91% of insects killed by the harps being Asian hornets and only 1% being domesticated honeybees. So that 2 centimeter spacing is specifically so that bees are not going to get caught in it. They're also putting them up specifically in the hornet's flight path as opposed to the bee's flight path. So only a couple of bees are getting hit, but all the wasps are definitely getting smoked by these things. The harps cost about $300, but Costa and entomologist Dennis Theory have developed a do-it-yourself model that cuts the price nearly in half. At home, you can help support honeybees with native plants or a natural lawn. And since the pollinators are essential to our food supply, accounting for 1 in 3 bites of food worldwide, you'll also be ensuring a sustainable future. To everybody involved on this one, building these electric harps, and to Cassidy for sending in that article. Cheers. My chat is always fun. All right, this next one comes from goodnewsnetwork.org. I titled it Horsing Around, but I'll copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Missing horse reunited with its family after a crazy journey. A horse that bolted from the trail in a remote countryside area of Alberta has been found after a crazy journey that saw professional trackers, planes, and emotional support from strangers as far away as Germany all lend a hand in looking for him. Flex is a championship endurance horse and an inseparable companion to Houston Pesci, resident of the small hamlet of Bragg Creek in Station Flats. But no matter how close a bond one has with a horse, when they spook, they spook. In this case, Flex bolted after suffering a bee sting. The bees! No! Not the bees! Flex bolted after suffering a bee sting whilst Houston was saddling him. He ran so fast and so far that Houston lost all sight and sound of the horse's whereabouts, and a frantic search that stretched across days began. Houston initially went out with his bike to comb the trails around the West Bragg Creek day-use trail area, but when no sign of Flex was found, he and his wife enlisted social media to lobby for assistance, with many of their friends coming from the horse community and feeling their distress keenly. There's a saying that a stranger is a friend that you just haven't met yet, and I felt that that was just so incredibly true, said Houston's wife, Rosalind Pesci. It actually might be Actually, it's Peschel. I apologize. It is Mr. and Mrs. Peschel. My bad. These are friends I haven't met, even though they've been so tremendous and pivotal in this whole crazy journey. On Wednesday, the search continued, and by Thursday, professional tracker Terry Grant, who starred in 6 seasons of the Canadian reality television series Man Tracker, came into town to help. A cowboy at heart, Grant was also able to sympathize with the Peschel's plight, and took the day off work to come to Bragg Creek and help. Grant told CBC News that basically looking for a horse involves looking for the things they need: water, good forage, and shade. By Friday morning, the search gained the addition of a small airplane, which proved the ultimate difference in locating Flex. The neighbor and pilot spotted a horse with a saddle sitting in a clearing, yawning and chewing, a sign of releasing stress. By the time I had the halter on him and knew that he was secure, we both just started crying with relief and joy and all the emotions that have been bubbling under the surface for the last couple of days, Mrs. Peschel told CBC about the ordeal. Houston had bought Flex 10 years ago after a failed career as a racing horse. He was timid and nervous around people, but Houston forged a bond with the beast that allowed them to win several endurance championships. He describes the horse as his best friend, and one can assume the horse would say the same. That is fantastic. So Flex gets stung by a bee, runs off, and a multitude of people come out to help. That is great. So to Mr. and Mrs. Peschel, and to everybody involved that helped find Flex the horse, cheers. Lilith says, look, if I was a tiny little bee and found myself in the presence of a terrifying giant bigger than the ones I already deal with, I'd go out stinging as well. Producer Donna, then the horse stayed away purely out of spite. So after running, it just was like, yeah, I'm not going back yet. Screw you. All right, so that gets us out of flora and fauna, gets us into our 4th category, the wholesome note. This is the nice touchy-feely article we're going to end on, and this one is an obligatory cat article. And this was sent in by Julie and Donna, who both found versions of it. If you look in the description, this one has several websites attached. They include the article website, a YouTube video that sparked the whole start of this, and also a GoFundMe. So let's get into the article. I will copy and paste it in the chat if you all want to read along. Viral content creator SB Mowing keeps Corpus Christi cat sanctuary alive. It all started when Spencer was mowing a lawn and found a cat. Corpus Christi, Texas. You may have seen Spencer from SB Mowing. He finds overgrown lawns and properties around the country and cleans them up for free for those who may not be able to do it themselves. A few years ago, Spencer decided to start documenting the properties he cleaned, making videos and posting them on social media. Since then, he's growing quite a following, gathering close to 8 million followers on TikTok and nearly 2 million subscribers on YouTube. While filming himself mowing a lawn in Corpus Christi one week, Spencer came across an injured cat. I feel like it was meant to be because I was actually going to mow a different lawn, and I took a wrong turn, Spencer said. I drove right by this one. I'm like, oh, I have to do this one. This one is crazy overgrown. He called multiple shelters and rescues. Edgar and Ivy's Cat Sanctuary was the only place that could help. Director of Edgar and Ivy's, Anissa Beale, said the cat showed up in rough shape. He was holding the cat in a box, Beale said. I was kind of looking at the cat, and the cat's leg was very swollen. The abscess was pretty bad, and he was kind of weak. Staff at the Cat Sanctuary cared for the cat, who Spencer later named SB. Grateful for their work, Spencer decided to start a GoFundMe to help the shelter. He said, maybe I can get you $10,000 or something. And I said, that would be life-changing, Beale said. It would have been life-changing because Beale was on the verge of closing the sanctuary. We've been doing this for 4 years, and every week we struggle to make payroll and to give the cats everything that they need, she said. Rehabilitating cats is something that Beale has been doing for the past 15 years, but Edgar and Ivy's only became a nonprofit in 2019. I was spending half of my income trying to sustain this, she said. I kept praying that I'd get some sort of a sign if I should continue, because I told myself if I couldn't make it this year, I was going to end it. I was not going to continue this rescue. Spencer posted the video to his platforms, linking the GoFundMe page. In less than a week, his followers had raised $140,000 for the sanctuary. That number continues to grow, but that's not all. Just a day after the video was posted, 4 Amazon trucks loaded with donations also showed up to Edgar and Ivy's. After totaling the donations made on the GoFundMe and those made on the sanctuary's website, the number of donation adds up close. Actually, producer Donna, so it says $180,000 here in the article, but producer Donna got me the new number off the GoFundMe, and I didn't write it down. Producer Donna, in the chat, please hit me up with whatever what that number was. Sean in the chat. Tonight my wife discovered our son had once again dog-napped one of our pups in going to bed. She was carefully and thoughtfully wrapped in his blankie, and she was I don't know what that acronym is. So Sean's son dog-napped one of their pups. That is adorable, Sean. I know there's a lag, or there's a delay. I think producer Don is looking for that number. $193,012 from the GoFundMe. So another 50,000 plus added since when the article came out. Lilith corrected me on the acronym, and so did producer Donna. Passed the F out. Aw. So yeah, so they've raised $193,000 on the GoFundMe and have been getting plenty of donations sent in by SB Mowing's community. That is crazy. It was a miracle, and it makes me emotional to think that so many people could care about us and about this cat and what we're doing, Beale said. I'm afraid I'm going to wake up and that it's not true. This is beyond anything I could have ever imagined. Spencer knew his followers from all around the world could make a difference for the sanctuary, but he said he's shocked by how much SB and Edgar and Ivy's mission touched their hearts as much as it touched his. I had no idea it would raise that much money, he said. Whether it was God or whether it was just by random chance that put this together, something put this together, and it just worked so well. To thank Spencer for what he was able to do for the sanctuary, Beale let him name a building which will be used to rehabilitate the cats that come into their care. Rather than naming it after himself, Spencer decided to name it after the people that made the sanctuary's future possible. The building will be named the SB Mowing Community Wellness Center. That is awesome. To SB Mowing for discovering a cat in a random property he was going to clean up, and to all of his community in coming to help Edgar and Ivy's cat sanctuary keep their doors open and keep rehabilitating cats, and to Julie and producer Donna for finding these articles and sending them in. Cheers. That is crazy. Well, that's about all we've got for this one. Thank you again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Knicks News Facebook page or the YouTube page. Again, we are going to be live every Sunday, and our next episode is going to be on August 11th, 2024. I encourage participation, so if you feel inclined, you can post suggestions for news brews, for shout-outs, news quotes, and even good news articles that we can show on future episodes. I keep a stockpile going of them, so if we get a bunch, I just start pulling. If possible, I do appreciate a variety of articles that are spread out across our categories, and those categories, again, were science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice article or articles that we like to end on. You can either message us here on Facebook or use the email that we have, somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment on Facebook and the YouTube videos. It gets good news spread. We want to get the good news and the joy out with the algorithm, get it as far as we can. So we want to build these platforms to just keep spreading good news and joy to, again, combat all that bad news that we're bombarded with on a daily basis. So, yeah. Yep. Producer Donna, we are weekly now. See you all next week. And yeah, again, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. I'm not telling you to. I just appreciate it when you do. So thank you, everybody. As always, thank you again. I love you all. And have a great night. And I'm going to play us out.